Have you ever stopped to wonder if everything we thought we knew about the Warriors' future might be upended by a move nobody saw coming? Could a single roster shakeup be enough to rescue this franchise from a precarious offseason? What if the grin on an icon's face belied a gamble so bold it risks everything we've come to expect? Welcome back, Warriors News Fan Report, your pulse on every twist and turn in Dub Nation. Before we dive in, make sure you pound that like button and subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report so you're locked in on every hot rumor and breaking development. Tonight, we're talking about an earth-shattering whisper that's circulating league-wide. Could Kristaps Porzingis be the missing piece the Warriors desperately need? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Instead, picture this: a 7'2" unicorn in royal blue and gold, towering over opposing defenses, stretching the floor, and protecting the rim with a reach that seems almost unfair. For a team that struggled against bigger, more athletic playoff opponents last spring, this would be nothing short of a game-changer. The earliest hints of this rumor surfaced when Jake Weinbach of Yahoo Sports suggested that Golden State could become a realistic suitor for Celtics star Kristaps Porzingis. At first glance, that headline seems almost too wild to believe. After all, the Warriors have built their identity on a motion-heavy, small ball style that thrives on speed, spacing, and endless three-point shooting. Could a 7'2" Latvian stretch 5 truly fit within Steve Kerr's system without disrupting the delicate chemistry of Curry, Thompson, and Green? The very thought sends shivers down the spine of both skeptics and dreamers. Let's rewind to when Porzingis first burst onto the NBA scene. Dubbed the Unicorn for his rare combination of size, shooting touch, and defensive instincts, he averaged 20 points and nearly 9 rebounds per game in his last full season before Boston. He shot over 37% from beyond the arc, swatting 2 blocks per contest while moving his feet well for a player his height. Now, imagine adding that unique skill set on top of a roster already led by Stephen Curry, whose gravitational pull from deep forces defenses to stretch thinner than ever. Could this dynamic create a nightmare for every Western Conference contender? Could opposing bigs simply not keep up with a lineup where spacing and shot blocking coexist? Of course, any talk of pursuing Porzingis must acknowledge the financial and logistical hurdles. The Celtics currently owe him nearly $31 million next season, and Golden State is already flirting with luxury tax hell, with $170.5 million committed, a figure that severely limits their flexibility. To make a push for a player of Porzingis' caliber, the Warriors would have to swing a haul of young talent and draft capital, perhaps Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and a future first-rounder to entice Boston. Is it possible that these assets could persuade the Celtics, who just claimed their own title in 2024, to part ways with a key rotational piece? Could Golden State's promise of contending around Curry and an aging but active Jimmy Butler sweeten the pot? Fans across social media are already buzzing. On Reddit, one thread speculates whether the Warriors might offer a package including Kuminga, a mid-first pick, and an expiring contract to match salaries. Others claim that a third team might facilitate the deal, absorbing salary in exchange for additional picks. Some insiders believe that the Celtics would only consider moving Porzingis if they could secure a foundational piece in return, someone who can step right into Boston's rotation and deliver immediate value on both ends. Could this rumor be the catalyst that convinces the Celtics to consider a swap they otherwise wouldn't entertain? Let's consider the on-court ramifications. If Porzingis were slotted as a starting center, Draymond Green could morph into a full-time point forward, orchestrating the offense from the wing while Porzingis patrols the paint. Klay Thompson's off-ball movement would open driving lanes for Curry, whose gravity would collapse defenses and leave Porzingis wide open for catch-and-shoot threes. Imagine a pick-and-pop scenario where Steph dishes to Porzingis at the elbow, only to watch him launch a 25-foot jumper over a scrambling defender. Then flip it defensively. Curry and Thompson swarm the perimeter, Draymond switches on to any threat, and Porzingis protects the rim like a human force field. Could such a lineup transform the Warriors back into instant title favorites? Historically, blockbuster trades have carried immense risk. We've witnessed dynasties crumble under the weight of superstar egos and ill-fitting rosters. In the late 90s, a certain Lakers team teaming with future Hall of Famers stumbled because roles were unclear and egos clashed. Could Golden State avoid that fate? Some believe that Porzingis's unselfish nature, he's often lauded for his willingness to defer in the pick and roll, makes him uniquely suited to blend into Kerr's system. Others worry that injecting a max contract center into a team built on pace and space could slow everything down, stifle off-ball movement, and hinder the Warriors' switch-heavy defense that has been their calling card. The implications extend far beyond the Bay Area. If Golden State successfully lures Porzingis to chase center, every other contender in the West would be forced to reassess. The Lakers, always looking to keep pace with the Warriors, might scramble to shore up their own interior defense or trade for another all-star. The Suns could pivot in odd ways. Do they double down on their backcourt, or scour the market for a veteran big man who can hold his own against Porzingis's length? Even lower-tier playoff teams could overhaul their strategies, knowing that the bar for contention just rose several notches. Back in our Bay Area fan bars, the conversation is electric. One faction is already drafting championship scenarios where Porzingis's shot blocking boosts the defense by 2 points per 100 possessions, and his spacing creates a cascade of open looks for Curry and Thompson. They argue that his rim protection alone could be worth a top-5 defender. Meanwhile, skeptics caution that playing Jonah Poole fewer minutes, if it came to that, might dismantle the depth that has carried the Warriors through injury-plagued stretches. Some even point to the 2025 mailbag, where analysts noted that while Porzingis would be a dreamy fit, the logistics simply seemed almost impossible given salary constraints. If you're as hyped as I am for Warriors News Fan Report, smash that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the drama in purple and gold. Imagine waking up the next morning to the headlines, Warriors acquired Kristaps Porzingis in blockbuster trade. You can practically feel the electricity pulsing through Chase Center as fans everywhere trade theories about how Coach Kerr will integrate a 7'2", 240-pound stretch 4 into a roster built on unselfish ball movement. But let's peel back the curtain and explore what comes next, because if Kristaps really does don that blue and gold, the ripples will extend far beyond the hardwood. First off, let's talk fit. In his last full season with Boston, Porzingis averaged 20.1 points and 8.9 rebounds per game, shooting an impressive 37.5% from 3 on nearly 6 attempts per night. He pitched in 1.9 blocks per contest and moved his feet well enough to guard pick-and-roll possessions, qualities that address 2 glaring weaknesses from last year: interior defense and rebounding. Remember how the Warriors struggled to contest, opposing bigs in the paint during that second-round playoff exit? Opponents out-rebounded Golden State by nearly 4 boards per game over that series, and had their way with offensive rebounds that turned into second-chance points. With Porzingis patrolling the rim, finishing over the top, and stepping out to contest drives, Golden State's defensive rating could drop by as much as 2 points per 100 possessions, enough to flip tight games into comfortable victories. Let's break down the on-court chemistry. Picture a lineup with Stephen Curry handling the ball, teasing defenders with his shimmy before threading a pass to Porzingis charging into the paint. That's one of the most lethal pick-and-pop, pop-and-pop combinations in recent memory. Curry's gravity collapsing the defense, Porzingis drilling open 25-footers, and then crashing for offensive rebounds when opponents sag. In the half-court, Draymond Green could transition into a de facto point center role when surrounded by shooters, his 7-foot wingspan allowing him to hedge screens on the perimeter and recover to protect the rim alongside Porzingis. Meanwhile, Klay Thompson's off-ball movement would open driving lanes for Curry, and if defenses over-rotate to cover the Splash Brothers, Porzingis would feast at the rim. Some insiders believe that this marriage of Curry's craft and Porzingis's length could generate a record-effective field goal percentage, especially in clutch moments when spacing is everything. But it's not all seamless. Dependence on Porzingis's health is a legitimate concern. He missed significant time in the 2024 playoffs with a torn medial retinaculum in his left leg and struggled to find consistency upon his return, averaging just 12.3 points per game in the finals. Could Golden State's medical staff and load management protocols keep him fresh enough to avoid another late-season injury? Some skeptics worry that shoehorning a high-usage big into a system that thrives on speed could disrupt the Warriors' identity. If Porzingis lingers in the post or chases rebounds outside the paint, the floor might clog up, slowing the break and limiting Curry's pull-up opportunities. On nights when Porzingis is rendered a decoy by defensive schemes, will his confidence waver, potentially echoing those playoff struggles that earned him the unfortunate moniker Pandemic P? Salary constraints also come into play. Golden State already has over $170 million committed for next season, flirting with the luxury tax threshold. To absorb Porzingis's $31 million cap hit, the front office reportedly parted ways with Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and a first-round pick in 2027, sending a message that championship aspirations outweigh development timelines. Could this sacrifice of young talent pay off immediately? Or will the loss of developmental depth haunt Kerr when the inevitable injuries march through the slog of an 82-game season? Fans on Twitter have been blasting Duke alum Cam Reddish's emergence as a key rotation piece this summer, arguing that trading away youthful athleticism could bite the Warriors come January when the schedule tightens. Off the bench, depth questions loom large. With Kuminga and Moody gone, fringe rotation players like Chris Chiozza and Quindary Weatherspoon will need to step up, but neither brings the rim protection or floor spacing that Porzingis offers. Could Gary Payton II reclaim a sharpshooting groove to offset those lost outside looks? Or might Kerr lean on veteran signings like Brook Lopez to shore up backup minutes, hoping that the occasional 3-and-D performance stabilizes the second unit? One league scout speculated on X that adding Porzingis might transform the bench into a one-dimensional unit, making it difficult for Kerr to stagger minutes without sacrificing defensive integrity. Ultimately, the question isn't whether Porzingis can score or protect the rim. Those talents are well documented. The real question is whether a roster built on space and pace can seamlessly integrate a unicorn of his caliber without sacrificing the intangible elements that made them champions. Could this be the moment that cements Curry's legacy as the greatest Texas man outside of San Antonio? Or might it be viewed down the line as the gamble that ended his era of dominance? Some insiders believe that if Porzingis buys into playing within Golden State's ethos, embracing off-ball movement, sacrificing touches, and defending from the weak side, then the reward could be 2 more banners in the rafters. Now, as the season heats up, what do you believe will define the Warriors' destiny? Bold reinvention or loyal continuity? Personally, as a die-hard Warriors supporter, I believe this move represents a once-in-a-decade opportunity to reclaim the throne, uniting generational talent around our franchise icon. Yet, I'm also cautious, knowing that even the slightest misstep in integration could derail 12 months of collective greatness. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts, and subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report so you never miss another explosive update.